What is up, guys? And welcome back to the recap. So, this week on the recap, what we have is Survivor Series 2020. I wasn't too excited about this Survivor Series as much as all the other Survivor Series, especially the one previously when it had NXT in it. They don't have NXT in this Survivor Series, which I'm kind of bummed about. But hey, what can you do? We start off the night with which I wasn't expecting. They started off with the men's 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. I didn't think they were gonna start with the men's one, because usually the men's one is like the main event one. But I could tell you how this year's Survivor Series is kind of how the hype is for this one. If they're starting with the 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series match, which usually would main event Survivor Series, but overall, it was a decent match. It wasn't anything special. I didn't expect for what happened to happen when it came to like eliminations. Seth Rollins, right? Seth Rollins, he got eliminated first off of Team SmackDown. For some reason, he offered himself up as a sacrificial lamb or something like that to do the greater good. Nobody knows what's going on with him. His team was like, what is he doing? He got on his knees and got brogue kicked in the face by Sheamus. As the match continued, I believe, because I'm trying to remember who got eliminated. KO, Kevin Owens got eliminated next, because on Team SmackDown we had Rollins, Kevin Owens, Otis, Jey Uso, and King Corbin. And then on the Raw team, we got Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, Matt Riddle, AJ Styles, and Sheamus. Then next, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens tried to do the best he could. After he got in the ring, he stole cold stirring everyone. Then he got eliminated by AJ Styles with a phenomenal forearm. King Corbin got eliminated next. He tried to come in, do the what is King Corbin's move called? You know what end of days. There we go. He tried to do the end of days and try to eliminate AJ, but that didn't work because the Raw team interfered. So King Corbin got eliminated next. Then Otis tried to do the best he could. He got eliminated by Strowman, and then finally Jey Uso got eliminated. He tried to do the best he could, super kicking everybody everywhere, but ultimately he couldn't get the task done. So the Raw men's team won for their Survivor Series match, and it was a clean sweep. I didn't expect a clean sweep. I had a feeling the Raw team might win based on who was on their team, but I did not expect for them to get a clean sweep. So that was interesting to see. All right, guys. So the next match that happened at Survivor Series, and honestly, the reason why I'm smiling so much, I really enjoyed that match. There's not many matches on the main roster lately that I'm like crazy about. Sometimes they have like good competitive matches, but this match I was really excited about because I like both sides, the SmackDown side and the Raw side of this match. The competitors are great competitors, and the match did not disappoint. In my opinion, the match was probably one of the best matches of the night, or one of the best matches this week, or of this month of wrestling for WWE. So the next match was the Raw Tag Team Champions, which is the New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, versus the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. I was very excited about this match. Out of all the Survivor Series matches that were lined up, this is one that I really wanted to see because I like both of those teams. They're both funny, entertaining. They both have great competitors in their teams. And the New Day came out with apparently there's this new downloadable content in Gears of War 5 where they have the New Day in there, and they have their own special gear and their own special like weapons and stuff like that. So the New Day came out in Gears of War kind of attire for their entrance, which was pretty cool. Big E came out with them, even though Big E is still on SmackDown, while Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston got drafted to Raw. And the Street Profits gave like a little speech rally thing before they came out too, which was pretty cool, about how they're gonna take the torch from the New Day, because you know the New Day set the record for like the most tag team championships won in WWE, and they've been like the most dominant tag team in the past like decade, I would say. So the match started off great. It was funny. I liked how they would steal each other's moves, or they would make fun of each other. Montez Ford is a fool. I say that all the time. He's a fool. I love watching Montez Ford wrestle. This man out here with a Michael Jackson sparkle glove. He dropped Xavier Woods, did the hee and started like doing a Charleston dance and all this other crazy stuff. The New Day, this match, the New Day had like this crazy aggression that I haven't seen out of them, where they almost seemed like a heel team, but it wasn't. They were a heel. It's like you know when you have a babyface wrestler, but they do heel stuff, but they're still a babyface. Like, you know, they're still a babyface. It's just that match that they're like using the full extent of the 5 count of the referee, or they're interfering, breaking up stuff or whatever. Like, they didn't cheat and poke anybody in the eyes or anything like that, but the New Day was showing like this crazy aggression that I haven't seen from them, that I really liked in this match. And I liked how, see, this is how storytelling for WWE should be. Like, this is when they get it right. It's because the New Day usually doesn't do that heel tendency stuff, but they did it for this match, because that made the match that much more special. You knew it was like an important match for these two babyface teams, because they started like doing, especially New Day, like heel tendencies, not because they want to be heels, just because they want to win the match, which I really enjoyed about that. And what happened, it's funny too, because you didn't know who was gonna win. For me, like, I like both teams, so it was like, I wouldn't be mad if the New Day won. I wouldn't be mad if the Street Profits won. And then the whole setup of the Street Profits are like just under the New Day, like they're below them, because the New Day has been winning tag team championships nonstop. They've been the most dominant tag team in the past decade. So the Street Profits are like the underdogs, and they're trying to prove themselves. But you like both teams. I like that setup. And what happened next, the Street Profits won. I didn't expect the Street Profits, well, not that I didn't expect them to win, it's just I would have did like a 60-40. I would have gave New Day like 60% of winning, and I would have gave Street Profits like a 40% chance of winning the match, because you know the New Day always pretty much wins, especially with these big matches. But the Street Profits pulled out the win, and it was crazy. I really enjoyed that match. If you haven't seen that match, even though I'm, you know what happened now, I suggest you still go see that match. That was a very good match. Honestly, like, probably the best match out of Survivor Series. Alright, so next up on Survivor Series, we have the United States Champion, Bobby Lashley from Raw, versus the Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn from SmackDown. I wasn't really looking forward to the match, based on the way their characters are right now, and when I watched it, it was just like whatever. All of the Hurt Business came out, and they caused like they weren't too much of a distraction. I'm like, Sami Zayn just kept, like mouthing off at them and whatnot, and he even pushed Cedric Alexander at one point so he could try to get like Bobby Lashley disqualified, because if Cedric would have hit Sami Zayn, then Bobby Lashley would have been disqualified, because they came out with him. That didn't work, and then he tried to like walk away up the ramp. He tripped over MVP's foot. MVP threw him back in the ring when the referee wasn't looking, and then Bobby Lashley put the Hurt Lock on him, which is pretty much the masterpiece, and Sami tapped out. So Raw picked up a victory. So far it's been one. The first match, Raw won. Second match, SmackDown won. And then the next match, Raw won. So it's 2-1 right now. Raw has 2, and then SmackDown has 1. Let's see how the rest of the night goes. A lot of matches off of this Survivor Series this year I didn't look forward to at all. There was like maybe like 1 or 2 matches that I really wanted to see. This one is just for me. I mean, like, I really like Asuka. She's like my favorite women's wrestler in WWE. But I don't know. I didn't feel that interested in seeing her versus Sasha Banks again. And the match, it was a decent match. It was back and forth, and I would say at parts it got a little sloppy, which I feel like both of them could do better, because I've seen better from both of them before. So I just feel like it was a tad bit sloppy, but it's still a good match. It wasn't like spectacular, it was just like a good, decent match. And surprisingly to me, Sasha Banks rolled up Asuka and won. So that's another win that SmackDown picked up. I thought Asuka would win. I wanted Asuka to win. I'm not the greatest fan of Sasha Banks. She is very talented in the ring, but I'm not a big fan of her character. But other than that, it wasn't anything spectacular. So the match was just like, the match wasn't great or disappointing for me, because I didn't really go out. I didn't really expect a great match. Alright guys, so next up we have on Survivor Series, we have and by the way, they showed something on Survivor Series just now. It was R-Truth. I forgot all about the 24/7 championship. I mean, like, I like R-Truth. It's good that he gets some type of TV showtime. He's a champion, but honestly that championship don't mean anything. Like, 24/7 championship, like what I initially thought it would be was like the hardcore championship, but more of like, like the hardcore championship was like backstage fighting and brawls, and like it had like a good 5 to whatever minutes of TV time. I'm like, sometimes it was ridiculous, but sometimes it was just like, like it was like a hardcore match most of the time, like ECW days. But honestly, I always forget that there's a 24/7 champion and championship, and honestly, I wish they would just get rid of that championship, because it's, in my opinion, worthless. I don't even know why they're still even doing that 24 championship thing, because they have the gobbledygooker or whatever he's called. They always have it for Survivor Series. A guy dressed up in a turkey costume. He was backstage. He pinned R-Truth. Then he got pinned by Tozawa, and then Tozawa got pinned by R-Truth, and R-Truth is like a 45-time champion or something like that. But I don't like that title, and I don't see the point of keeping it and keeping up with these like ridiculous storylines. But anyway, the next match that came up was the Women's Survivor Series match, which I didn't really look forward to seeing, because I didn't like either team. And I mean, like, there's some talented people on both teams, but as together as a whole team for Raw and together as a whole team for SmackDown, the anticipation for the match was for me. Off of Raw, you have Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Lana. They had to replace some people from Monday, because on Monday Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax were injuring their own team, so they had to add Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce to the Raw Women's team. And I'm not crazy about Lacey Evans' gimmick, character, whatever you want to call it, with wrestling, but she is a very talented wrestler. So is Peyton Royce. I'm not crazy about Peyton Royce with her like gimmick, and her character doesn't really draw me in. But I do know Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce, they can wrestle. So I do like the moves that they do here and there in the wrestling match. I like Shayna Baszler, like my probably second favorite female wrestler out of all WWE. It's either her or like Charlotte or someone, or like Becky Lynch, whichever. I'm not a big fan of Nia Jax wrestling wise and character wise. I'm not a big fan of Lana wrestling and character wise. So yeah, and they went off against the SmackDown team, which was Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Natalya, Bayley, and Bianca Belair. I'm a fan of Bianca Belair. I'm a fan of like her gimmick and also her abilities and wrestling skills. She's like awesome. I'm a fan of not Nia Jax, Natalya. Natalia's been there. She's a veteran, and she can go in the ring. She's a great wrestler. I'm not crazy about the gimmick for her, but her wrestling abilities are second to none. I'm not crazy about Liv Morgan, and I'm not crazy about Ruby Riott. I feel like they both can wrestle. I'm just not crazy about what they have shown in the ring, and also their gimmicks. And then I feel like I'm missing somebody. Bayley. Bayley is here or there for me. Sometimes, like, I can get into it. I know Bayley has tremendous wrestling skills. I'm not crazy about Bayley's character though with wrestling. Anyway, the match was okay. You know, there's a little sloppy here and there. I honestly, I don't know what WWE's doing with their women's division, but they need to do something else with the women's division, the way they present their women wrestlers and whatnot. Like, they get it right when they present like Asuka or Charlotte, Becky Lynch when she was there. I'm trying to think of somebody else. That's the only people I can really think of right now is Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Asuka. Everyone else, even Shayna Baszler, and I like Shayna Baszler, but what they're doing with their characters, the way they schedule them in matches, or the way they have them become champions or tag teams or whatever, is just not that great. And then a lot of people aren't interested in the women's division. Honestly, it's not even just the women's division. There's a lot of stuff within just the main roster that people aren't really happy with WWE. But when it comes to the women's division, they need to do something different so they can really shine a light on the women's division. They need to invest more into their women's division, because they only have like a few handful of women that can actually carry the division. Everybody else is just like, why is this person even in the match or here? Yeah, so the match was back and forth. People got eliminated on both sides, and then Raw ended up winning. I don't like the way they won though. I didn't even want Raw to win. I actually wanted SmackDown to win, but the way Raw won is like they told Lana she can't tag herself in. She tagged herself in anyway, and then they bullied her into getting out the ring. Her own team, which is Shayna and Nia Jax, they told her to stand on the step, and you don't do anything at all. So she stood on the step the whole match, looking sad. And then while everybody's eliminating each other, it came down to the sole survivor being Bianca Belair on the SmackDown team. Bianca Belair eliminated people left and right. She eliminated, Shayna Baszler got herself disqualified because she wouldn't break the chokehold, and then Bianca Belair got counted out with Nia Jax so Nia Jax and Belair got counted out, and the only person that was left in the match was Lana. So by default, Lana was the sole survivor for the Raw Women's team. And for this year of Survivor Series, honestly, I didn't like it at all. That's why I wasn't really looking forward to this match. So I really feel like WWE needs to invest more into the women's division, the way they present the characters with the women and the storylines, and they just need to try to do better, or to replace their writers, or do something with the women's division on the main roster. The women's division in NXT has always been good, and they've always gotten good characters and good storylines, but the main roster is just, I don't know. Alright guys, so next up was the main event of Survivor Series. It was the Universal Champion on SmackDown, which is Roman Reigns, versus the WWE Champion, which is on Raw, that is Drew McIntyre. This match I was kind of looking forward to. Out of like the few matches I was looking forward to for Survivor Series, and this match didn't disappoint. This match was a very good match. It was better than I thought it would be, and I really enjoyed the match. It was two big superstars just going at it, and they pulled out all the stops, the aggressiveness, the moves, the new moves that they barely ever show. Submissions. Drew McIntyre is out here doing Kimuras like Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns out here doing Kimura locks like Brock Lesnar. Mind you, they both had feuds with Brock Lesnar, so you're starting to see like a influence of Brock Lesnar on these two guys. I like this new Roman Reigns, this new heel Roman Reigns, very aggressive. I like the old Roman Reigns too, but I like this heel Roman Reigns better. I feel like he works really good as a heel. Especially, I liked him when he was in the Shield. I liked all the members of the Shield when they were all heels. I liked all of them when they're faces too, but I feel like all the members of the Shield work better as heels more than baby faces. Anyway, Drew McIntyre. I like this new Drew McIntyre. It's crazy to see the Drew McIntyre from 3MB, and like even farther back when he was like Intercontinental Champion and he was getting the praise from Vince McMahon, and now this like big jack dude who is like running through people. There was a lot of back and forth in the match. Roman Reigns hit him with a spear, speared him through a barricade. Roman Reigns put him through a table, and Drew McIntyre kept kicking out, which I was surprised to see. That's what I kind of like. I like when they kick out, like kind of like in New Japan or even in AEW. I see it more in New Japan where people will hit like a signature move, but people kick out. WWE does it, but they only do it with certain people, which is something I kind of don't like. Like, it's not going to be all the time people kick out, but it's always like, oh, it got to be Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, John Cena, Shawn Michaels to kick out of like somebody's finisher, and somebody like, who can I think of? Somebody like Dominic Mysterio. Well, not bad example. Let's see. Who can I think of? Somebody like Jey Uso can't kick out of John Morrison's finisher or something like that. Like, I feel like you should be, every now and then you should be able to kick out of a finisher of somebody, especially when it's a mid carder going against a main event. Like, it's nice to see a mid carder kick out of a main event wrestler's finisher. But anyway, getting off topic. Anyway, this was a really good match. It was very entertaining, and Drew McIntyre was about to win. He hit the Claymore, but then the referee got knocked out. Jey Uso came out, interfered in the match for Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns beat Drew McIntyre. So I believe that SmackDown picked up 3 wins in the night, and then Raw picked up 4 wins, because Raw had there was a battle royal at the kickoff show too, and Raw won the battle royal. The Miz won it for Raw, so Raw had that battle royal win. They had the women's Survivor Series match win. They had the Raw men's Survivor Series match win, and they had the United States versus Intercontinental Champion. The United States champion won. So Raw beat SmackDown at Survivor Series 4-3. It was a little bit more entertaining than I thought it would be. Survivor Series this year. They did good with some of these matches. Some other matches I didn't care about at all, but they did do good with some of these matches, even though NXT wasn't in the mix. Because if NXT was in the mix, the whole show would have just been fire from start to finish. Anyway, yeah. I figured Roman Reigns would win, because I figured they would have him lose right now with the whole, like, him coming back in the role that he's on. So, yeah, that was the next match on Survivor Series, the main event match, which I really liked. Alright, guys, so the very last thing that happened on Survivor Series this year, Undertaker Farewell. So Undertaker came out and said his final farewell to the wrestling universe. It's been 30 years, 3 decades of the dead man in WWE, WWF. I remember growing up with the Undertaker around. I remember seeing Undertaker versus Batista a lot. Undertaker versus Edge. Yeah, that was when like SmackDown was SmackDown, Raw was Raw. There was no wrestler going to that brand unless they had a draft, and it was mainly like the pillars of SmackDown was like Booker T, Edge, Rey Mysterio, Batista, Undertaker, JBL, and I remember all those guys had like great feuds. And for this farewell, they had a lot of people come out before the Undertaker came out to show their support. People that he's wrestled or either had like backstage connections with, like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Booker T, The Godfather, Ric Flair. Who else? I can't name everyone because I don't know everyone. They had like a lot of people from like way back in the day that I never even heard of. Kane came out. Let's see, somebody else came out. JBL came out. Jeff Hardy came out, because if you remember, like, Jeff Hardy got really established as a singles competitor when like he went off against Undertaker this like one Monday Night Raw in like a ladder match or something like that, when Undertaker was doing like the American Badass kind of gimmick. So a lot of people came out to show support for the Undertaker, and the Undertaker came out afterwards. Vince McMahon announced them out. I know Vince McMahon and Undertaker have like this like crazy relationship, like they're like brothers. So I know Vince McMahon, you can see it as he's talking, he's trying not to get choked up as he brings out the Undertaker. The Undertaker honestly is probably one of the greatest, it's like undeniable, one of the greatest sports entertainers, wrestlers, performers to ever grace the squared circle. And sad to see him go, but it's time, and he's had a phenomenal career. Like, there's no taking that away from him, with the streak, with the amount of titles he's won, with the character that he's built. There's no taking away the Undertaker's career. So farewell, Undertaker. I grew up on the Undertaker, so he was always one of my favorite wrestlers. So farewell, Undertaker. Thank you guys for watching the recap for Survivor Series. And if you want to comment down below what was, either when you got introduced to Undertaker, like what match it was or what segment or something like that. Also comment down below what's your favorite Undertaker match, what's your favorite Undertaker gimmick. My favorite Undertaker gimmick, because there's been so many, so there's been like the American Badass, the very original Undertaker, like way back in the day when he first burst onto the scene with like the purple on and whatnot. The American, I'd said the American Badass already. I feel like I said American Badass already. The Dark Ministry Undertaker. My favorite is, you know, the original Undertaker, the dead man, and the whole hat, trench coat thing. That's my favorite gimmick of The Undertaker. Favorite match of The Undertaker for me, there's so many matches he's been in. I would say, it's hard to say, actually. I feel like, off the top of my head, I feel like my favorite Undertaker match, if I had to pick one that just like pops into my mind that I always will remember, is probably Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. If not that, then, you know, Undertaker versus Mankind. There's been so many matches, so like I would say that, or the Mankind one, or even Undertaker and Edge at WrestleMania. I remember that fondly. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, like, subscribe, comment down below your opinions about The Undertaker and about Survivor Series, if you enjoyed it or you didn't enjoy it, what matches you liked. And my boy Tyler supporting the channel over here. He got me a mug, custom made mug of TWR, of the logo. Shout out to him. He also got me some other wrestling stuff as well. He got me my favorite wrestler, Funk Pop. I don't know if you can see that. Come on, clear up. Yes, AJ, it's probably better. Yeah, AJ Styles. You guys know camera problems. Sometimes it doesn't focus. Right here, you see the name AJ Styles, my favorite wrestler of all time. Shout out to Tyler. He got me some of these big NWO posters, but they're all like kind of rolled up and put away. But yeah. So guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate any love that I get from you guys to the channel. It's deeply appreciated. Even if I know the channel's small right now, I appreciate everyone who is subscribing and liking, like I said. Catch the recap each week. I'm gonna try to be more consistent so you guys can see it each week. And I'm I'm gonna try to do more reactions. Since the Undertaker just said his farewell, I'm gonna try to do an Undertaker reaction, best moves, or Undertaker's best moments, or something like that. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.